Hello everyone, this is a video about how to create a parkrun run report. My name is Stephen Garden. I am currently the event director of Ellen Parkrun, which is way up here in the northeast coast of Scotland. I've been involved in parkrun for about 5 years, since my running club down in Orpington, way down in southeast London, started Orpington Parkrun in 2012. So we're going to have a little look at how to create a run report, because this is something lots of people struggle with, and the main reason, as far as I can see, is this: WordPress is not Microsoft Word. If you're alive on this planet 2017, it probably means you're a PC user, it probably means you're a Microsoft user, and it probably means you use Microsoft Word. But what we use to create parkrun run reports is this tool called WordPress. And it's not Microsoft Word, and this is where a lot of people, I think, go wrong. So let's have a look. If you have been trusted with the login, it will be something like this: parkrun.org.uk plus your venue name plus the login, and that's the URL. And then you may have been trusted with the username and password to get you to log into WordPress for your venue. If not, it's sometimes the case if you're a tourist or a visitor or not a core team volunteer and you want to do a run report, your team will just ask you to write something and email it into them. But this is the login for WordPress, so let's do that for Ellen, my home venue. And here's the dashboard for WordPress. So what is this? What is WordPress? WordPress is what's known as a content management system, which is a bit fancy. Basically, this generates a website. And the reason, I believe, that so many people fall down at this stage is because this acts very differently to your standard text editor like Microsoft Word or whatever you might be using. And the reason is this. So let's just refresh this page because I just deleted this one. So here's the news page of my home venue's website, and whatever browser you're using, I'm using Chrome, you might be using Firefox or Internet Explorer or Safari if you're on an Apple device. Typically, if you press right click, you can view the page source. And this, when you view the source, what you get, this is the internet with its drawers off. This is how the internet is actually communicating with your PC, and it's called HTML, which is Hypertext Markup Language. A lot of this is auto-generated, but if we have a little look, can I find a keyword? Let's look for fastest. And so in this document, the HTML document, which is what the browsers actually read, this little bit here, if we look at the news section, there's actually the run report. So how do we produce this? And you guys are actually lucky. Lots of you guys will curse WordPress because it doesn't do what you want, but you're actually very fortunate. If you're a geek like me, and you were at university in the 90s, then you ended up learning HTML, and you had to do things like this. You had to open up a plain text file, and you had to write your web page using these things, which are called HTML tags. And then you'd have to go and change the file extension in your text file to .html and open it up in your browser to see how it looked, and do that over and over again, and it was an absolute nightmare trying to generate a web page. These days, 20 years later, we've got these brilliant things, one of the most popular in the world, is called WordPress because it's so easy to use, and this generates HTML for you. So let's go and do that now. Let's do a new post. Now some of this is going to be personal preference, the way I like to do run reports myself. We're adding a new post in WordPress, and you can see what's opened up here. All these things which are probably familiar to you in a text editor such as Microsoft Word. This is WordPress's text editor, and we've got two tabs here. We've got visual and we've got text. And we'll cover this a little bit later. When you're in the text, that's kind of showing you most of the HTML, and when you're in the visual, it's showing you how it will probably look. There's a little bit of a different process when you publish something. When it goes up to the parkrun servers, there are style sheets applied. And so what you generate in WordPress may not look exactly like what ends up on the parkrun website. So I'm going to take you through how I tend to do my run reports, which, as I said, is kind of a little bit due to personal nuance. I like doing this. I like going to my latest results page, and I will copy the title because I like to be quite consistent. I'm a little bit anal like that, and Control V, put that in there. So then we've got a title, and something I prepared earlier in plain text. I've created my run report, so we're just going to copy that. And big tip, basically primary tip for this video, is to press this button. This button is your friend in WordPress, because I know lots of you out there trying to create run reports will write it in Word or write it in some text editor, and then try and paste it, and everything will go wrong. But you press this magic button, paste this text, and it gives you a little warning saying paste is now in plain text mode, blah blah blah. Then it tells you this lie: if you're looking to paste rich content from Microsoft Word, try turning this option off. This is a lie. Don't worry about it. Press the paste this text button, and then when you paste, hopefully everything will be hunky-dory. Preview. There we go. And basically just generated a run report. In my experience, in 5 odd years, what usually happens, people struggle for hours with WordPress because they're trying to mess around with formatting, and you can't do that with WordPress. It will win every time. So do something basic. Don't worry about formatting, making it look fancy too much. It really helps if you press this magic paste this text button. And then we've got a run report in a matter of seconds. What you'll also probably do is you may want to put in photos. So let's have a look. The official method for doing photographs is to load them onto Flickr. Let's have a look where we are. Okay, I was just checking. I've got 2 Flickr accounts. I've got my own personal one, and I've got one which I've generated for my parkrun venue. So if you want to put in a photograph, here's my Flickr photo stream. So to put in a picture from Flickr, Flickr's changed quite a lot in recent years, but now you want to go to this little share photo arrow, and it gives you a number of options. And the one you want is the embed, because this gives you your HTML tag. This, I can't actually remember if it defaults to 640 by 427 or if this is something that's been cached. But 640 by 427 is quite a good size. It will work on most PCs. Might not work so well on phones. So let's just copy this. And it's quite an important lesson here. Now this is HTML we're about to paste, so we need to go into text, which is basically your HTML tab. And we can just paste that in here. Now something we'll point out, because just to show you the power of WordPress and what it's doing, WordPress is trying to generate HTML for you. It's trying to do you a favor. And it is constantly monitoring what you're putting in. So just take a look at this. You can see what I've just posted. It says a data-flickr blah blah blah. And that's given us a nice photo when we look at the visualization. And if we go straight back, we can see it doesn't say a data anymore. It's monitoring everything we're putting in here. And that's what catches a lot of people out, because WordPress is trying to help. It's trying to get you to generate good HTML, but sometimes you're not generating good HTML, and it'll mess up your formatting for you. So what else might we want to do? We might want to put in a URL. So quite a common one is the ERS barcodes, if you want to promote these. So here's the link to ERS, which is where you get the paid for barcodes, which aren't mandatory, but they're very, very useful. And so if I put in a link, I tend to copy directly the URL. Let's do a line. Get your plastic barcodes from the following. And what I'll do is I'll just paste. But then you have to do something else here. That's not going to create a URL. So if I select this, and we go up to our little text editor buttons, and you can see most of these will be familiar. Put things in bold, italics, strike through, create a list, quotes. But we're trying to create a URL, so we'll press this, which is a link. Then we have to put our URL in, and I can just paste this here. Add link. And you can see it's changed here, and if we go to preview, and there's our run report. So that size of picture is slightly too big, but it doesn't look too bad. And our URL, which you can see in the bottom left. If I click it, it'll click through. And so that's us generated a run report, which is fairly straightforward. So the key thing, if you're looking to generate a run report, the main thing is to use this button, paste as text. Okay, hopefully that was helpful. I'll maybe try and update this video and try to do a little bit better. But I was really determined to do this because over the years I've been involved in parkrun, I really am aware of so many people tearing their hair out over WordPress, and it doesn't have to be difficult. The main thing you have to do is not try and force formatting in WordPress, because WordPress will win every single time, I promise you. Try and keep it simple, a bit of a parkrun saying, and ask for help. You can save a lot of time if you just ask your buddies for help, and especially ask the geeks. It's one of the reasons I started the channel where this video is being posted in. It's the unofficial parkrun results processing group, because you can spend hours on something that someone else more experienced could fix in seconds, and we don't want you bashing your head over things like this. Alright, cheers guys, thanks for listening, I hope it's helpful.